So another interesting thing about felines is they have up in the roof of their mouth, above the soft palate, they have what's called a Jacobson's organ. Now that Jacobson's organ enables the cat to be able to essentially taste what it's smelling and get an image of what it's getting ready to eat, right? Something interesting about that though, there's another animal in the world that also has a Jacobson's organ, and that's snakes. So according to Darwinism, you've got felines and you've got snakes, but I don't know how that could possibly be true when they're so diabolically different to each other. So what are the odds that that Jacobson's organ could evolve on two separate species at two different points in time? That just doesn't make sense. I think it makes more sense that a common creator created both the cat with the Jacobson's organ as well as a snake with the Jacobson's organ.
You know, the more you look into evolution, the more you can see that it can't be true. Think about the impossible task evolutionists have. They believe that all creatures evolved from each other. So, when they see animals that are similar, they often believe that one might have evolved from the other. But like the example Dad gave, what happens when two completely different animals, like cats and snakes, share a common trait like the Jacobson's organ? To say that this amazing organ could even evolve once is impossible. But to say it evolved twice is, well, impossible times two. It just goes against all the odds. Like Dad said, common designs in totally different creatures like this shows that God used the same design in different animals. Speaking of odds, what do you think the odds are that the badgers could outsmart their guillotine door if our zookeepers weren't one step ahead of them? I would say pretty good, because these badgers are so smart. But Eva and Haley are on their way up to maintain the exhibit, and they are focused, laser focused.
So ice cream can have strawberry chunks, but yogurt can't.
No, because ice cream chunks are really little. Yogurt chunks are big. I like granola.
Okay.
I don't know if that does anything for you. What else do I eat?
I don't know. I'm
PBs
scared
and
that there's
J's.
nothing left.
Love me
Okay.
some PBs and J's. I can eat
look
a
at-
whole
look at-
thing of banana peppers. That'll give me some like heartburn, but I can eat a whole jar of them.
I don't feel like that's
I don't
something
eat
you should
pickles.
do. Oh, you don't eat pickles?
I don't eat a pickle.
Pickles are so good.
I hate
I went to
little.
the pool yesterday and they were just selling pickles in a bag.
We don't like drunk cucumbers.
All right, now they're focused. The badgers are also carnivores, and Haley and Eva are working hard for them. They're gonna do a little work on the exhibit, so the honey badgers can't open their guillotine door to the house. As soon as they get the right set of keys for the lock, that is.
Oh, we don't have the key for it.
Hey, is anybody by the prep room? I need that whole big grouping of keys that is down there.
You're up at the honey badgers?
Yes, I am.
Okay, give me a couple minutes.
These honey badgers, normally found in Africa, are usually nocturnal creatures. But they're pretty active right now.
Hi, my sweetness.
Yep.
That was not nice. Okay, for being one of the cutest animals, they could eat you. Hey, whoa!
I was talking to my husband's aunt the other day and she's like, what is that? I told her honey badger and she's like, honey is really deceptive. Like honey is sweet and lovely and she's like, that thing is terrifying. Yep.
I eat that too.
You eat honey? Okay.
I can eat an egg roll.
An egg roll. What about spring roll?
Can eat those too.
Crab rangoon?
Well, we finally found something Haley likes. Jay comes to help with the key situation.
Thanks, Jay.
Yay! That one.
And soon, Haley is put to the task of shoring up the guillotine, while Eva distracts them.
You're so scary. When you're scary, it makes me not want to feed you.
The honey badger's natural habitat is in the rocks, like those in their outdoor exhibit that they can access during the day. It looks like they're going for their chicken.
Give it a second, I'll help you. There you go. Ooh, sorry kiddo. With their ability to flex the metal and get through the guillotine, they keep outsmarting us. It's like spy versus spy. They outsmart us, then we outsmart them, and then they outsmart us again. It tests your knowledge, your abilities, you know, your skill, to have to constantly try and outsmart something that keeps outsmarting you. Okay, you want a little bit too? Ready?
Honey badgers!
Okay.
Eva, I got it.
Come on. Drop it.
Okay, walk away.
Okay.
And our protocol is for keepers to reinforce the door with a bolt. There's a whole group of zookeepers who work together to keep these guys in their exhibit. Now the honey badgers are all zipped up. Our last meat eater is not a carnivore, but a meat eater nonetheless, an omnivore, and every bit as scary as the carnivores. My dad has a story about that.
So Kashtan, do you remember when we were moving Kramer, the male sloth bear, away from the female while she was going to have cubs?
Oh yeah, I do.
When the female's going to have cubs, male bears, your boars tend to want to kill the cubs, whether that's in the wild or whether in captivity. So the female will always take the cubs away from the male. So in a captive managed environment, we want to separate that male from the female so she can safely have her cubs.
Right.
It's not like we can just go in, put a rope around their neck and walk them out. They are not tame and they are not afraid of people. This particular time, I had darted the bear from the outside. The female was locked away on the inside, so we waited for the male to go down. And typically, depending on the medication, you'll wait a few minutes in order for the medication to take effect. This time, when Kramer went down, we thought, okay, it's good, he wasn't moving. I said, cast it up on top of the bear house, just for safety reasons, while I went inside, while the other keepers were outside as well. A bear is shaped kind of like a pear, and so if you just put the rope around the neck, then the bear's gonna slip right out. So it's gotta go underneath an arm. And then what we do is we run the end of the rope into a transport cage so that we can pull the bear safely into the transport cage, reverse the medication, and he wakes up and we get him moved. So the most dangerous part probably of getting ready to move an animal is that time period when we first dart them to going in and get them. Before I went in, I distinctly remember my wife saying, if he wakes up, do you think you can get out of there? And I said, I can climb a greased wall if a bear comes after me. I'm up on top of the platform there where the bears can hang out. Kramer's laying at the base of the platform. So I maneuver the rope over top of his head and I'm keeping my distance still because again, this particular medication, sometimes animals can wake up pretty quickly with the sound, just a sharp noise. I get it over the bear's neck, underneath the bear's arm. Apparently, this particular medication, one of the reversal agents is when you tighten the noose around the bear's arm. The second I tightened that up, Kramer woke up.
I remember sitting there and I screamed, Daddy! And I mean, its mouth open as wide as
we've seen the movies where the grizzly has like the bottom lip that's quivering while he's got his mouth open getting ready to eat the unsuspecting hiker. And so at that moment, the bear woke up. He looks at me. He's not very happy because I'm inside the habitat with him. And so I went ahead and finished tightening up the noose and I jumped down on the bottom onto the ground there. So the bear came at me from underneath. So fortunately, the rope was across the top of the container. So I was able to hold the rope while the bear was fighting to get to me. I was yelling to my wife to take the tranquilizer gun and to shoot him again. This particular time, this tranquilizer gun, it was a new one that she wasn't familiar with. I've got a bear on the end of a rope. I'm yelling at her, shoot the bear. And she's like, I don't know how this thing works. And I'm thinking to myself, it's a bad time for her probably not to know how the tranquilizer gun works. And so I'm giving her detailed instructions on how to load the dart so that she can give him another injection while holding the bear on the other end that is clawing and slinging dirt and slobbering and everything.
Spit string on it. It's like a big spit string.
On me or the bear. And so anyway, she ends up darting the bear again. Just a couple of seconds, he went down and we were able to get him transferred from there. But looking back, it's a humorous story now. and one of many that we have in the zoo here, but it also shows the dangers of working with wild animals. And we all know when we go into this field the dangers of working with animals, just as a police officer understands the dangers of working around criminals. And so it's still a passion of ours. We partake in every safety protocol that is imaginable, but sometimes we still have to put ourselves in harm's way for the betterment of the species. And this one worked out well, and she ended up having cubs about a week later.
That was a chilling experience. You never know what's going to happen here at Creation Kingdom Zoo.